Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to a very foggy, cloudy Aberdeen. I'm SimScott185. You are very welcome to join me in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. I haven't streamed for a while, but thought it would be good to do on this Saturday afternoon. Going to take a short little hop from Aberdeen down to Luton in the south of England. Weather in the UK today, pretty rubbish, so expecting some interesting flying conditions as we head down south. With this very sporty looking Cessna Longitude. This comes standard with the Deluxe version of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, so if you've got that you will have access to this. Lovely looking aircraft, and it flies really well as well. It's something different to your sort of Airbuses, your Boeings. This is going to be a bit more of a automated jet, but simple to get into, and if you're new to Vatsim, then I'd really encourage you guys to have a go at this flight. The route is pinned in the chat, and chat on a quiet day if you're nervous about Vatsim. But up here at the moment we don't have any air traffic control. As we get towards London we might do, just see how the coverage goes as we go south. Probably about an hour's flight time today, and we'll get ourselves underway and get everything booted up. So this is the cockpit. It's pretty cozy in here. It'll be you and a co-pilot, and what I find easy is just get that yoke out the way, come down here. So if you want to turn your batteries on, left and right. Also got external power, click that button and the external power comes on. While you're here, flick your standby power up and make sure that's turned on. Nothing else to do in this panel for the moment. What you've also got up here is your overhead panel. So let's get seatbelt sign on, passenger safety, we'll put the tail flood on. Won't do anti-collision at the moment, we're not ready to start up, and we won't do any of our taxi lights or strobes. In terms of the route, I've got it up here in the sim brief panel. It's all pretty simple actually. Coming out of Aberdeen, we're on runway 16. We're going to go direct to the waypoint Naxil, follow the airways and waypoints down towards Luton, and then the Listo 1 November Luton arrival into runway 07. We'll get that all punched in a second into the FMS. This airplane's really intuitive to use, and you shouldn't be scared of it. It's something that is actually pretty simple to fly. I see a lot of people flying the ATR at the moment. That is a complex and sometimes quite difficult aircraft to fly because of the autopilot and the props. This is kind of a point and click sort of jet, and it should mean that you guys can get into it with easy. Just to give you an idea, we're over here on the Echo Apron at Aberdeen. We'll be taxiing and making our way, sort of wiggling around the outside of the aerodrome. It's runway 16, where we'll then take off and head south. So, without any further to do, let's get our flight plan in. So, origin, this is where you need the sim brief panel. So the origin is EGPD, so Echo Golf Papa Delta, DICE, which is the name of the Aberdeen airport. Destination, Echo Golf Golf Whiskey, Echo Golf Golf Whiskey. Luton. Hit the enter button, and then what you want to do, come over to PROC, so procedures, departures. We're not going to do any sort of actual, it's got a couple of departures here. We don't actually need them, so we will click through here, and I'm actually not going to load it. I thought we would go through there, but if I just cancel that out, I don't want actually any departures because I'm going to fly the runway heading. But at Luton we definitely do. So we've got runway 07 in there already. Click on arrival, and it's the Listo 1 November to runway 07. Load that in, and come back in here. Approach. So approach is our SO7. We'll vector ourselves to the runway if we've not got air traffic control. Minimums we'll do when we're up in the air. Click load. Click OK. And that's your flight plan, the beginning and end of it pretty much done. So, in terms of this, we're going direct to Naxo, so let's put in NAXIL, hit enter. So that's, go away. So we're going from DICE, we're going to go runway heading, then we'll hit direct to Naxo and then pick up the rest of the flight. From here, there isn't a way, I don't think, to import SimBrief into this, but don't worry about that. It's super simple. Click on Naxo. Over here, you'll see the next waypoint is an airway, P600. So load airway. It already knows that the only airway coming out Naxo is P600, and the waypoint after it is Papa Tango Hotel, which is Perth. Find it in the list as you flick through. Might be up the top. Where is it? There. Click on that. Load airway. Perfect. Click down. So from Perth, we're then going direct to let's actually well, I want to get out of here. Back. There we go. Add on route waypoint because it's not an airway, and that's gonna be Elbus. LBUS. Enter. So Perth, then we've got Elwes, then we're back into an airway, so back in here, load airway. You see there's two airways here that you have the option of choosing, but we're going for UL612, not the lower. So UL612, and then we're going to Listo. And we'll see if we've got that in here. There it is. So you see that what that's doing, it's adding in all these waypoints that are along the airway, instead of you having to type each of them in. We get to Listo, and then we do our arrival. So it's all in there, which is great. Cool. That's all good. Vertical navigation, we'll wait because it's all loaded in, but we're all good on that. Performance. So first of all, if you're going to do weight and balance in the Cessna, don't go into your cameras because that's not what you need. Over here, this flight plan's in kilograms, so switch to kilograms. Come up here. So fuel needed is 2128. So I want both of these together to add to 2128. So just over. We give ourselves a little headway. Let's do 1100. So that's done. I'm not going to play around with the payload here, and we close that. So that's all in. That's simple as that. It's got the weight in there. Set empty weight. Hit enter. Payload is all good. Take off. Fuel on board. You can either enter it manually, or you can sync it, which is what I'll do. So here we go. 31237. So that should be all good. and landing. It'll do, I think it'll calculate that once we sort of start up, etc. But don't need that for the moment. Takeoff data. So we're going out of runway 16. Weather, we'll load it in from the METAR and we'll bring the temperature in. That's good, 6,400. I wonder if that matches. Yeah, 6,400 feet is here. 6,400 feet here. Cool. Takeoff config, we'll do flats 1. We don't need any anti-ice. We're not going to have any thrust reversers. It's not going to be a rolling takeoff. We're not going to. We could put a takeoff factor. What this does, if you add in a positive number, more than 1, it will increase the length that you need to take off from. So if you're going from a grass runway, you would put a takeoff factor in that's higher than a concrete runway because of the friction. Set the takeoff speeds here. So we've got our V1, VR, and V2. Come back. They will know, he says. They get punched into here. And once we started up, they will all go in. In terms of flight level, it's got some step climbs, but we're going up to, that's interesting, flight level 240. I think we want to go up to 430. I just want to check my flight plan, because, let's see. Yeah, 24,000 is probably not where we want to be. Let's go to 43,000 feet. And just doing a couple of things in the background here, don't worry. Do that. Flight plan. Yeah, cool. Alright. That should all be done now. Fetch from server, 43,000 feet. Perfect. So, let's move it up there. Put in your flight level. You see in here it's dashed at the moment. Gonna turn the flight directors on, and we're gonna go up to 43,000 feet. So you see it's 200 above. If you want to move it to hundreds, push that button in, bring it down. Perfect. Cool. We'll see if we can get up to that level. We might struggle, but all good. Anything else down in here we still need to do? Transponder, we'll do auto, and this can be 2,000. Call sign today, and you'll see at the top of the screen it's ExecJet 185. That's all good. We got all that. We'll come over here and we'll click the pre-flight. That gives us a list in the middle here. There's a couple of things that we still need to do. Parking brake is still on. That's why it says check. Stabilizer trim is actually your flaps here, and they'll once they come in, flaps will come in with a check. Stabilizer trim is over here. You'll see this yellow marking. We bring it the way it needs to be into that green bracket, and move it a little bit to the bottom. That gives us what we need in terms of that. We do also need to turn the AP on. If you want that, it's down here. Flick it to start, and then it will come on. It's a really easy aircraft to just get into and get on your way. It's a little bit quicker than some of the bigger jets. You hear the APU starting up. I'll let you guys listen to that. So that's the APU all started up, which is good. And let's flick into the forward view again. So most of this is all done. Let me just get the METAR for Aberdeen. There's no ATC, so let's do this the manual way, which is on Vatsim. So, it's foggy, it's messy, it's about 8 degrees, but the QNH, which we do need, is 1015, which is there, which is all good. Cool. Got all that on. Got all that on. Parking brake and flaps are probably the next things once we start up. So cool. I think we're almost ready to go, guys. Now, this doesn't have a GSX profile, and I'm not clever enough to make one, so we'll try and use Pushback helper and see if this works. If it doesn't, we'll just start up and put all along out of here, but let's see. Where can we go? I think that's probably the right direction. I'm sure you press control, or is it shift? How'd you zoom out? Yeah. I mean, we know going that direction, so let's do that and hit enter. And request pushback, here he comes. This looks a bold move. We'll probably end up flipping ourselves over or something, but there he is. What a horrible day. Hopefully we'll blast through the clouds and we will get ourselves out of here pretty quickly. Super, so he is locked in. Now, if I release the parking brake, I think we're going to go shooting backwards, but let's see. I don't want to hold. There we go. He's doing his thing. We'll do our thing. So to start the engines in the Citation, come down here. These are your starters and your fuel. You have to click and there's a clear sort of cover. It's a guard. Click on that, run, and then start the starter. Unlike the Boeing, you don't need to do this. You could do both at the same time if you really wanted to. We'll do it one at a time. You can see we're pushing back this way. And then we're just going to follow everything around. One thing we do need to do, because we are on Vatsim, is just tune ourselves to our Unicom. There we go. Well, that's one engine starting up. You can see got the oil pressure coming up. We'll do the other one. Come down here again. Flick that up. On. Close the guard and close the guard. Nice. He's off. He's had enough of us. Bye bye. And we'll put one stage of flap in as well. Okay, those nice jet engines spooling up. We'll then go up here and we'll put on our recognition light, taxi light as well, because it's pretty murky out there. One thing to be aware of, and this always confuses people in the Citation as well, is the auto throttle button isn't easy to find, but it's down here. If I wonder if I get the camera down, there we go. These two little buttons here, so click that and auto throttle will engage, and you can see it. It's armed over there, and then oh, I'm stuck behind a chair. Hold on, let me reset my view. If you come down, again, this side button here is your toga. So if you click that, you'll see the magenta line goes up. And that's it, armed, ready for takeoff. And that's all you need to do for the moment. Let's get out of here. No takeoff. We'll make a quick call just in case anyone is nearby. Aberdeen traffic, ExitJet 185 is taxiing runway 16. Aberdeen traffic. Cool. So, I wouldn't taxi too quickly, especially when it's foggy, like a day like today. It does have the synthetic vision down here, which is pretty helpful, to be honest, when you're going on a day like today. But we're going to follow our navigraph, so we're going to take a right here. Oh, I don't want to do that. That's what happens when my trigger is mapped to the same thing as the brakes and click spot. So, continue on to the right. The brakes are pretty vicious in this. As I said, we're going to fly the runway heading as we depart, and then we're going to take a turn towards Naxio, which is our first waypoint. We've got FX Realistic on in the background, so you'll be able to hear the people sipping their champagne in the back. No air traffic control here at the moment, so it's just us. I said if this is your first time watching, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and ask any questions. Obviously you can watch this back, and if you've got any questions in the chat, then let us know. So we're making our way around the edge of the airport at the moment. Another sunny May day in Scotland. What we'll do down here, we'll just go to full, and what that does is it brings up. Hold on, let's not crash now while we go around this corner. Brings up the full map for you, so you don't get a split screen effect. Let's go around Echo. So there should be a runway over to our left hand side, he says. We'll follow this all the way around. Nice looking jet. There's the runway behind us. Look at that. It is miserable here. Can't see a thing. So if this is real life, I imagine you'd be taxiing pretty slowly. You wouldn't want to end up getting lost. And I imagine there's a bit of spacing that they would want to do as air traffic control to stop any crunches happening. That's the name of the game. What we can also do on this map down here is if we go into map settings, we can turn on our weather radar. And that you'll see is starting to show up if I zoom it out. Ooh, that didn't work. Oh, now I'm going to go off the runway, aren't I? It's very difficult doing this as a single pilot and trying to control the aircraft, but no excuses, right? So you can see the weather on the radar, which is pretty cool. I don't know how accurate it is. It probably isn't that accurate. I'm not sure how well weather's implemented yet into Flight Sim 2020. Alright, we'll follow this little road around. We don't want to go to the helicopters, and then the runway should be in front of us. There it is. That's interesting. That's runway 1A. It's not even on the map. Where's that going to? Let's keep going. I've got a feeling the runway is in front of us. There it is. Cool. Alright, let's get our landing lights on. Beautiful. Aberdeen traffic, exit jet 185, landing up runway 16, straight out departure, Aberdeen traffic. So, get ourselves on the runway. Can't really see anything ahead of us, but that's great. We'll fly at instruments. So we'll just hold here. We're not going to do a rolling takeoff. So it's going to be a bit of a right turn. We'll sync up the heading with our current heading. So we're going to just fly. What we'll do is we'll take off. We're going to go straight, and then we'll come around towards an axle, which is fine. We won't need any sort of constraints here, but if you do have constraints, let's stop rolling down the runway. If you do have constraints, you can use vertical navigation, and it will respect them as you climb out. So, alright, so we'll just advance the thrusters. It's using toga, and away we go. So you can see the V speeds on the ribbon on the left hand side of the primary display. And it wants to take off, and we're good. So once we're up, we want to follow the magenta line, which is here. The jet will want to go higher than it, and I would advise trimming the nose down, which is what I've done there, and that just controls slightly your rate of climb. Blasting out if you're already. We're already coming up to 1,000 feet. We're just climbing out. You can see that rate of climb again. It's easy in a jet for it to just get a little bit out of control. What we'll do is we'll engage autopilot and heading mode, and we'll sync that. See, we're about to go through. Still keeping below 250 knots at the moment because we're below our speeds. Sorry, below 10,000 feet. And we can do flight level change now, and that will climb out now. Best rate of climb, so it'll get up to about 250 knots. And we'll turn towards Naxio. So come down here, home flight plan, Naxio, we'll go direct to activate. And you'll see we're taking a right turn now towards there. And it is as simple as that. So as we came out there, we engaged flight level change. Let's bring the flaps up, and I'm pretty sure I didn't bring the gear up either, so let's do that too. Yeah, gear's coming up now. Cool. Because I was talking too much. So, flaps are up, gears up. We're now climbing out. You'll see this thing climbs at a crazy rate of knots. We'll go to standard pressure as well, because we're going to go up to flight levels. And it looks pretty awesome. And this airplane can do everything that your Boeing or Airbuses can do. It can do vertical speed, it can do vertical navigation to respect constraints, and we'll talk about that as we descend. You can do flight level changes if you want to clear out a constraint and just climb at your best climb. It's got heading mode, it's got ILS approach modes, it's got altitude hold modes. It can kind of do anything that you want it to do, and it's free, right? Unless, well, you have to buy the Deluxe version, but it's really good. So look, we're just climbing out now. It's such a cool little aircraft. And it is blasting its way up to we're going to go right up to 43,000 feet, so that's higher than most jets would go. That does mean we should get down to Luton pretty quickly. We'll talk as we get out of here about what it looks like when we get towards Luton and the approach, and we'll get that set up as we go. There will be, I think, air traffic control as we get down towards Luton, which is good. And they'll pick us up as we get nearer to the destination. As I said, if you're first time watching this channel, have a look at some of the other videos. We do live streaming, done some general aviation ones as well, and you are super welcome to comment, give feedback. We'll make sure that we do what we can to make sure it's enjoyable for what you want to watch. We're getting a couple of warnings, and this is again because I've been nattering. So the APU is still on. Come down here, flick it to the left, and that's turned off. So that warning cleared out. So we're on standard pressures as we shoot up. We do have TCAS as well. It's down here, and it's set to traffic advisory, risk advisory. Sorry, resolution advisory, and that's all good. We've got our radios down here. Over here, there's a couple of other controls in the Garmin. So you can choose loads of different options if you want. You could, like at the moment we're on UTC time, we could set that actually to our local time. Speed bugs, we'll get to that when we come to landing. You can change your source if you're going to move to a localizer or anything. That nav source can get changed. There's just loads. You got timers in here. It's decent for a sort of run-of-the-mill free aircraft. It's really good. So we blasted already through 10,000 feet. So let's turn off this landing. We'll keep recognition on, and pretty sure out my window another airplane, which is below us. You can see it on the TCAS here. But it is not an issue for us at the moment. So just climbing out over the Scottish hills. Pretty cloudy and it's pretty groggy on the ground, but now that we've broken through the clouds, we're in good shape. Super. This is cool. I'm not sure how accurate it is. I think it is, but you get the blobs of weather radar, so you can actually see what's what you've got coming up. What it'll also do, fingers crossed, is it will tell us when our top of descent is. As we get nearer, we'll talk more about how we use the VNav in this, but it will respect the constraints as we want to descend into Luton. Yeah, it's pretty cool for being such a, I guess, well, it's free, but you pay for the deluxe version, but I think it's great. You can also change sort of your climb. You can do like maximum rate, you can do cruise, you can define it yourself if you were given instructions from air traffic control. Get the cruise in terms of what you want to do, it's just Mach 0.84, and then descent. You can sort of tell it what you want to do, what your speed limits are. So below 10,000 feet, we'd go down to 250 knots. Perfect. Could change that. Could say actually we want to keep it at 240, 10,000, just to give us a bit of headroom. We don't want to sort of break through and go and overspeed. And then it also, when it gets near the terminal area, it will then reduce to 200 knots. Kind of like if you've seen the Airbus, when you get to decel, it's very similar to that. But yeah, we'll get to demonstrate that as we go forward. So we're already 31,000 feet. Absolutely hooching it down Scotland. So yeah, we're just cracking our way down here. You can also flick through here, and you can see sort of your leg and your estimated time arrival. So if someone asked you, I know, ATC, and they were like, when will you arrive at, let's say, Luton? We got 4:46 UTC, which is 5:46 here in the UK. So yeah, it's pretty advanced. It's pretty cool. It's still continuing our climb up to 43,000 feet. You can see climb rate is a lot less as you get higher, as it cuts through thinner air. See, I think the radar, yeah, I think the way the radar is working, it's sort of, I guess, let's see, behind us. Kind of clear, right, down there, in front of us. Pretty murky. I guess that's what that's sort of showing. Sure. Give it the benefit of the doubt, right? Cool, so we're getting up to our cruising altitude now. So yeah, we are getting down the spine of the UK. I wonder if we can show you actually. Yeah, like, here we are. So, coming up to our cruise level, 43,000 feet. Beautiful. Yeah, still a lot of weather below us, but managed to skirt over the top of it in our super posh private jet. Slow this camera down a little bit. Okay. So it is a super little jet, and you can fly in and out of Vatsim events with this. Got some really good detail on it. Look at the scratches on that window. Not really sure he's been flying it, but look at that. You can see the swirls. Got the pitot. I think this is like angle of attack. My airplane doesn't have all these sort of things on it, but it's pretty cool. I don't think you can go inside it. Yeah. It's not quite there when it comes to an interior, but pretty good with the exhaust gas. Oh, we'll leave this out here. Jump back inside. So, what have we got now? Well, if you have a look here. I wonder if we can go down any further. There we go. So, time to top of descent, 21 minutes. And we can zoom out a little bit here. That's zooming in. So we can see more of our route. So you get the whole of the UK, basically. So we're going to come down here. So in about 20 minutes, we'll hopefully start our descent. That's dependent on air traffic control. And then giving them... Oh, what is happening here? That's dependent on them giving us sort of the right descent. See, we're right against the barber pole here. So sometimes in Microsoft Flight Simulator, when you put your own view in, which I've done here, likes to get up close and cozy to the console. So yeah, we'll leave you guys in the cruise. I wonder if we can, let's see. Not that. No. Normally I can get you guys quite a good view over there here, but not as good in this airplane. few gaps in the clouds so that you guys can have a little look through. Also see down here if you're interested, got our wind. So we got a bit of a headwind. You can see sort of our true airspeed and our ground speed. So we're fairly hurtling along. Not burning too much fuel. It's got things like the cabin altitude in here. Gears up. See the outside temperature, pretty chilly. It's just because we are so far up in the air. Stop doing this with my views. There we go. Alright, so we take a left turn. We'll brief the descent as we get closer. Otherwise I'll let you guys enjoy the view. Cool, so yeah. It's in the cruise now, not loads to do at this point. Can I have a little look at our descent? It's still 15 minutes away or so, right? But because we're up pretty high, we're going to start our descent further north than we normally would, but also because we're going fast as well, we will be quite quick as we go in. So we got this, I think it's the Listo, yeah, Listo 1 November. So there's a couple of constraints here that we just want to check we've got in our flight computer. So here's Listo. It's basically, the first one is, it goes Listo, Pedic, come down, Rugby, and that's flight level 200, which we've got hidden here as a constraint. Binma, it's flight level 150, which is 15,000 feet, and then we have to be at flight level 80 at Zyxo, which is here. So that's all set up. Also, what's quite helpful is when you initially type in this procedure, it puts in the frequency in the course for you. So 109.15 should be for iOS 07. Here. Oh, hold on. I don't want to do that at all. I would like the iOS coming in. Interesting. You could do an RNAV approach as well, I guess. But it's got 109.15, 109.15, and that's the iOS. You could do the RNAV approach, which would come from Zigzag, come all the way down here, follow it around. And I think these do have, if I come down, it doesn't have the RNAV in it. That's interesting. We'll do vectors for that. Interesting. Okay. Sometimes it does have the RNAV in here, so might just be I've missed something there, but more than likely I would do something wrong there. But yeah, it's all set up. We've got our descent plan as well, all sorted. When we descend, so we'll probably be under air traffic control guidance. But if you weren't, it's very similar if you've flown to, I guess, like the Boeing and the Airbus, right? So you bring your altitude down to the level you want. If you hit VNAV, it will descend at the top of descent. So basically you put your altitude down, let's say to 3,000 feet, click VNAV and nothing would happen until it hit the top of descent, and then it would begin its descent down the VNAV path, and it would also respect the constraints that we saw in the flight plan. If you just wanted to do like a flight level change, it will just descend, trying to maintain the speed that you've already got. I think there's probably something wrong in there, but VNAV is very useful if you've got constraints to reach, and you can always catch the VNAV up even if you don't descend at the correct rate. Maybe air traffic control holds you at a higher level, so it will show you the VNAV path. It's quite easy to catch up with it. Saying that, we'll probably do something that messes it up. The other thing we can do, just while we're down here, if we go back home, performance, landing data. So Luton, runway 07, weather, we can load in the METAR, which is 160 at 10 knots. Runway, 7094 feet. And I'm pretty sure if we come down here, 7093 feet, so pretty much bang on, which is good. Landing config will be flaps full, won't put any landing factor in. Reversers, we'll use stowed at the moment. You could do max reverse. Auto throttle will be off, we'll manage the throttle, and we'll accept those landing speeds. Now, what I've done in my flight plan is I've actually said my approach speed is going to be about 130 knots. Reason for that is bigger jets will come in at a faster speed than this, and sometimes air traffic control will tell you reduce to minimum speed, and in this it's that would cause a bit of chaos, right? Because you'll be down to about 110, 120 knots, and they may not expect you to slow down that quickly, and then someone coming in behind you might have to go around. So it's just always kind of polite just to make sure that people understand what's going on, and why you might be slightly different to other airplanes. This jet can get in and out of loads of little airports. Nice. So I think we'll be moving to 127.1, which is London, but we won't try. We could. We'll enter that one. So it's on standby. And if we do go to them and they ask us to contact us, we're ready to go. I've just had a little look on Vatsim to see who's online and who's not. Cool. So we've still got about 8 minutes to our top of descent. If air traffic control don't contact us before the 8 minutes is up, we'll start our descent ourselves, and then when we contact them, we'll basically say to them, look, what level we're descending to, or we started our initial descent on the Listo 1 November, something like that. They'll probably then clear us down to about Rock B flight level 200, so they'll know that we then get all aligned, they can catch up with what we've been doing. So I'll set my initial altitude to that flight level 200, just so we got it. As we get closer, I'll arm VNAV, and that should set us up quite nicely. So you can see on the weather radar, still looks pretty tasty as we come down in towards Luton. We'll have a quick check on their METAR. Yeah, it's like towering cumulus nimbuses, broken at 400 feet. It'll be pretty miserable, I imagine, once we get down there. Lovely weather. So we'll see. We'll see if we can get into Luton. I think our alternative might be Manchester, but we'll... yeah, it is Manchester. We'll... yeah, we don't need alternatives. We'll just, we'll crack in there. Wonder what the minimums are actually for the approach. Let's just do that before I suddenly say we're all good and we're okay with this approach. If it's a Cat 3A, decision height would be 50. Just something approach rate. Okay, interesting. 127. Decision height is 600, so let's see what happens. We'll put it somewhere between there. Maybe 300 given the weather. I say, I'm a general aviation pilot. This stuff I haven't trained in. I've done a bit of it online. But don't take this as gospel. That is definitely not what I'm here to do. I'm here to get you guys up and down and have a bit of fun as well. Where are those? Right. Flat speeds, they're all... Ooh, okay, that's all good. Speed bugs, they're set. Did I want to do anything else? Where was my... Oh, it was... flight plan, procedure. This. Let's do... minimum. Yeah, barrels. Let's do like... Well, we know it's going to be about 400, don't we? So let's do 350 and see if we pop out and we're okay. If not, no worries. It's got 5 minutes top of descent. I think we'll probably... be okay to start our own descent, but let's see. I imagine it'll be a very awkward time. I imagine we'll get contacted just when this timer here gets to about 30 seconds and then we won't be able to do anything, but we'll see. Don't think specifically there's any air traffic control at Luton, no. So we'll probably get vectored in by the controller, the central controller. Technical term. So we're just coming down the west coast of the UK here. Barton is round about Manchester, so yeah, we're just coming up to the Manchester area. And when we get near the iOS, we can activate it. What it'll do is it'll flip this nav source into localizer, and then we'll be able to fly the localizer down to the runway. I wonder if there's any general aviation parking. There must be at Luton. Oh. We could go to the Harrods hangar, I guess. There's signature. We'll come over there. And we're coming in here, so we'll try and take Charlie, but we may, depends how quickly we can stop the airplane. Then we'll taxi around and we'll park up here. Gulfstream hangar, that's us. Okay, cool. I'm going to on VNAV, just because we're getting 2 minutes before the top of our descent. And I want to make sure that we're not taken by surprise. And what you see is when we get near that top of the descent, the airplane will start to track its descent path for us. All very simple. So all we've done is we've set using the altimeter, the altitude on the autopilot down to 20,000 feet. We've clicked VNAV, but the airplane isn't starting to descend now. I haven't told it to descend, it's armed. So you can see VALT path is armed here. If we wanted to descend, we could hit flight level change, it would start to do that, or we could use vertical speed, but what I wanted to do is follow the VNAV path. Might not be able to see it, you guys, but there is an airplane just passing below us here. It doesn't look like he's anywhere near us on TCAS, which is good. So 30 seconds to top of descent. So you can see, here's the guide in terms of what we need to do descent-wise. So the airplane's now holding that, and it will start its descent, which is cool. And there's that other aircraft just heading off into the distance over there. It's pretty cool. The only problem sometimes with having this weather radar overlay is you don't always get to see as much, and the only way you can do it is if you turn it off here, then you get a better view. So we're just approaching Listle, which actually it says not to scale here, and that's because it's actually quite far away from Pedig. So even though it's got Listle here, when we pass it on the map here, you won't see our little triangle pop over it just yet. And interesting, I think Yeah. Oh man, landing control just went offline, so we're on our own. That's fine. Just need to watch for traffic as we descend. So as I said, it's a good opportunity to show how this works. Why don't we have a little look? Where's our final descent down to? So we'll go down to, let's do 8,000. But what this will, well, that's heading, that's not what we want. So we'll do to 8,000, but you can see that within the flight computer it's already got this constraint of 20,000 feet plugged in, and that's what it's aiming to do by Rugby, and it'll continue its descent down to flight level 080. Nice. It's a carpet of cloud down there. Not great. This doesn't have like a EFB or anything like that you can use, but you don't really need one as long as you got sort of Navigraph here. The other thing I was using up here was SimBrief panel. Like, you're covered off if that's what you need to use to get your charts, etc. Already done our landing numbers. Yeah, cool. So should be down by about 1/4 the hour, so landing in just over 20 minutes. So hopefully everyone's enjoying the stream. Probably been watching a lot of people fly like the ATR, which was released with an update to Flight Simulator. I've tried it a couple of times. It's alright. It's quite difficult, I think, if you don't have sort of functioning autopilot. That's a bit unfair. It does function. You've just got to be on top of it, and you've got to make sure you know what's going on with it. So if you're flying that on the network, do think about that before you you unleash it. A good way to annoy air traffic control or Vatsim controllers is if you can't actually control your aircraft. So fly it offline first, and then see if you can take it online at some point. There we go. We got the active VNAV profile down here, Rugby flight level 200. Haven't noticed that before. That's cool. And it's telling you what the target is, what's required, and then the deviation. And the deviation in this case is not far off where it needs to be. In terms of the METAR, it's just our luck. Scottish Control have come on just when we've flown out of it. Missing all the air traffic control today. Apologies, guys. So QNH is 1012 down in Luton. So we can come here. It's 1015. Go up here. Don't take yourself out of standard yet, because you're still above the transition level. But you can plug in 1012 already. So when you flip out of standard and you go over the transition level, you are pretty much sorted. Getting a bit of a crosswind, to be honest. So the wind's coming at the moment from 160. So basically this way. So it's a bit of a crosswind. Still runway 07 to the right one, but it's, if you think of a compass, 180 is coming this way, so 160 is sort of this way. So it'll be a nice little crosswind to deal with. It's only 10 knots. What could go wrong? And into the soup we go. These clouds are pretty high. I think there is quite a big Vatsim event going on between Dublin and maybe Berlin. Yeah, it looks like it. Which I could, like, I think you can fly this aircraft in those sort of events. I've flown it on Vatsim events that have been busy before. The bit that sometimes can get not difficult for you flying the aircraft, but for some of the controllers is the speed. This thing can climb really quickly, it can descend really quickly, and it can slow down really quickly. And so, I'd say you just have to be really clear what you're flying, put it in your into your flight plan. So that they're aware that if they ask you to slow right down, you will slow right down, but it could hold someone up behind you. Anyway, we are well into our descent now into lovely Luton. You can see where we are. We're now on this map, so Rugby's coming up. You can see that we're right on that triangle here. So we are bang on as we come into Luton Airport. Still broken at 400 feet. Still thunderclouds. This might be the view you get for the next 10 minutes until we see the ground, which is cool. Good IMC practice. Got to trust your instruments when you're in here. You can see the TCAS, so we've got not only TCAS here, but also over here. But you've got to get your bearings, so this is the direction of the aircraft, and this is off to our right hand side, whereas over here, it's on our left hand side because the aircraft is going this way. You can change this, I think. Let's see as we drop out the sky. Map settings, orientation. So at the moment it's north up. If I click on that and I do heading up, you get that sort of view, which sometimes people find a bit more useful. You can do track, which is slightly different, or you can just do this is where we are. I don't mind flying with this view here. I can kind of work out where we are, but you might find it easier if you've got track up, just to get your bearings. Cool. So we'll fly this in, we'll get to Zagazoo and then we'll make an approach from there. We'll probably, although it says max 220 knots, if there's no one around we could do a high speed approach, but let's see how we get on. Said longitude, this airplane sort of does what all the rest does, and it's so underrated. Nobody flies it. I think because it's just, you know, it's not a big old jet. It's a bit frustrating with GSX. I could create a profile, I suppose, and maybe I'll have a go at that at some point. Hey, Mr. Turtle. But yeah, it is a cool little airplane. Super manoeuvrable. With those clouds, it's like the end of the world. Hope you're doing well, Mr. Turtle. Welcome. You missed the most exciting bit, the cruise, but we're starting our descent down into Luton at the moment. Look at those clouds. That is almost like a volcano's gone off. Wowzer. Still a little bit better than X-Plane 12 and its clouds, but hopefully you're developing those. Yeah. Flying straight into the end of the world, it looks like, but all good. It's going to get quite dark, I imagine. I might just turn down some of the brightness here. Don't really want to get a massive glare. Do the same over here. This one, I can never figure out how to turn down. I'm sure it's somewhere. That's trim. We don't want to do that. Actually, what we don't want to, let's just turn down some of the panel lights because they're getting a bit blurry. There we go. Cool. You're only 5,000 up, Mr. Turtle. What do you fly? Like general aviation? 5,000 in this jet, you're going to a hill. Don't want that. If you're pottering along sightseeing, 5,000 is great, except on a day like today where you just see cloud, but yeah. Cool. All that nattering. So we did get the next constraint. It's Finma at 15,000 feet. You can see 15,000 here. Finma's coming up. Bang on profile. Told you this airplane does it all. So we'll fly the approach. And go from there. You're in an A320. Yeah, you need to go higher than 5,000, Mr. Turtle. A, you're burning a lot of fuel at that level, and B, you could hit someone, right? I don't want you flying into a building, that would be good. Okay, so airplane's throttling back. It's it's trying to hit the constraint, which it should do. So we're at 15,000, and we are literally 2.6 miles away from Finma. So it's starting its left turn towards Woburn. Look at these clouds. It's pretty special. So we've also got a speed constraint, max 250, and that's why the airplane throttled back. So it's going to hit 250 knots, and at the moment it doesn't need to descend any further. Get the flight plan up, and you can see that it's now at 250 knots, and then you can see the constraint here of 8,000. Time to top of descent, another minute and 10 minutes. So it's calculating then. You can see it actually here on the panel. TOD here, top of descent, which is really good. Mr. Turtle, 5k in the height panel. I think you can go higher than that though. Have a little look at some of the videos I've done and some of the other guys out there. No, go much higher. Have a look at some of the YouTube videos and you'll see where you need to get to. Love the name though, Mr. Turtle. Look at this weather. It's pretty glim, but a few gaps in the clouds. See the lovely city down there. It's a football stadium we're just going over the top of. It's a great livery, this as well. Cool. So we continue our descent. 10 minutes to the bottom of the descent. And what we could do here...
Wickham traffic.
Oh, Wickham. Nice. What we can do, because I don't think there's many people nearby, but give me a second, let me just check. Yeah, it's just pretty much us and then someone half an hour after. So, let's say, where am I flying? Mr. Turtle. I am flying into Luton, which is in England. But what you could do, guys, if you want to get away from, let's say we want to clear ourselves down for a shortcut to the ILS, what we can do is go into heading mode, go to flight level change, and it will start to descend. Again, it'll do it 250 knots because it's trying to hold that. See our descent rate is started, and then what we can do is leave the leave our current heading or our current track. So what we're doing is we're going to vector ourselves down this way for a long approach into there. Ah, thanks for the subscription, Mr. Turtle. Super kind of you. Ah, you're in France. Super. Ah, you might like the some of the videos done of flying out of France. Nice part of the world. Hopefully you're enjoying flight sim as well. So we're now just vectoring ourselves, which is cool. And because we're now moving away from our actual approach, which is going up here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to activate the approach. So in here, click activate, click OK. You'll see our nav source over here changed to lock 1. We've now got lock 1 up here, so the localizer is now active. Continue our right turn, so we're going to do a downwind leg here. So this is same sort of terminology we're going to use as we do in general aviation, still used in there. And what our plan is to the runway approach is a straight in this way, so we're going to turn down here and loop ourselves around, but we do need to make sure we get down fast enough. We can put the speed brake out if we have a look outside. Speed brakes are up there, the raised elements here, and you can see we're now pointing the nose right at the ground. 6,500 feet. That'll throw people back into their seats a little bit. Aberdeen is in Scotland, Mr. Turtle. Yeah, we flew down from there. You can always go back to the start of the video once it's done. It will be landing in 10 minutes, but if you watch it from the beginning, you can see the setup. You'll see the weather there is really foggy. Wasn't great, but yeah, we got out okay. So we're flying a bit of a base leg here. What we'll also do, we're on standard. We're going to click this, and that's now on the Luton local. We're going to take over and do manual speed. 220 knots fine. You can see when I click over here from FMS, that's the magenta. I go to manual, 220, and I can then manipulate this how I want. So we're just tracking down this way. We'll probably come a little bit to the right. Let's get ourselves set up. And I can see how far away I am from the runway. It's about 12 miles at the moment. Absolutely. Turn the wrong way. We want to go left. Easily done. And we'll slow ourselves down a little bit, so to 200 knots. When you slow down the airplane, it's kind of simple physics, but 200 knots, your rate of descent will reduce, because if you're descending, you're going to gather speed, so it will get to about 200 knots, and then you'll see this rate of descent increase again. Nice one. So we're just vectoring ourselves in. Now, if it was busier on Vatsim, I'd make a lot more calls than I am, but I know from looking at VatSpy and also from looking at our TCAS here that there isn't anyone really around to get in our way or for me to get in their way, so not too worried about that at the moment. But yeah, normally we'd make calls. We'd say we're on a base for 07. Let's have a look. And we can do that just as an example now. So we'll go head south and we'll make a call, blind call. Luton traffic, ExecJet 185 is turning for left base, runway 07, currently 3,000 feet on QNH 1012, Luton traffic. So that's just letting people know, if someone's on the ground and they're maybe holding short, they know that I'm lining myself up for a base leg. So the base leg is basically the parallel, not parallel, sorry, the perpendicular, is it? I don't know. The right turn and left turn, basically, that sets you up before final. So come down this way and then we'll go into final. So this is base here. this is downwind, and this is crosswind. So you go takeoff, crosswind, downwind, base, final. It's the easiest way I can explain it, only because that's how I've been taught.
Wickham traffic, Golf Charlie from Papa Alpha is left base 17 to land.
Ah, Mr. Turtle. That's what you get when you don't do metric, right? That makes sense. Still 16,000 feet, it's not that high. Like the Airbus can go up to like 32, 33,000 feet, so get up higher, you get better views.
Eastern traffic, Seabird 520 is airborne on the Gatsby to Juliet, departure.
Really appreciate the subscription, Mr. Turtle. Have a look at some of the other videos I've done, and like whenever we stream, come and say hello as well. It's always great. And any questions, either about flying in Flight Simulator, Vatsim, general aviation, super happy to help out. So we'll start our left turn. And so start to line us up for the localizer. We'll bring the speed back to about 180 knots. That's basically what you do if you're in an airliner as well. Cool. That looks like an old runway there. That could be another airport. Could just be that it's not used anymore.
Golf Charlie from Papa Alpha is final runway 17 to land.
All these people that you can hear in the background are landing at General Aviation at Wickham Airfield. So we're going to arm our approach here. So click on approach. Lock and glide slope are armed. You can see we're going to intercept it. We've always got to be below the glide slope. It just makes it a bit simpler. When this starts to come down, it'll intercept it. If you're above it, you've got to sort of dive for it, and that is not pleasant. We'll put one stage of flapping. And you can see from our approach speeds here, basically we could approach at 125 knots, and as we come close to the threshold, it could be 115 knots. We'll keep the speed up, and I'll show you what it's like when if you're doing an event or something. What we really want to do is either stick around 180 knots or 160 to about 4 DME, which is shown when this reaches 4, and then we can slow right down. So that's us just turning final. You can see that we've captured the localizer. It's now in green, and you can see that the green diamond is coming down. When it gets near this line, glide slope will that should engage. If it doesn't, we'll figure it out. But it's armed, and it should turn green. Got a horrible feeling we're not looking at the front of the airplane, but I'm sure there's nothing there that could, hurt us. And there you see glide slope. So now the airplane will descend with the localizer. Beautiful day out the front of the airplane, as you can see. So we'll slow down slightly. We'll go to about 160. I don't have a Discord server, Mr. Turtle. But yeah, I think you vastly overestimate my popularity on YouTube at the moment. Maybe one day, but at the moment, no. I only get a few people watching me, Mr. Turtle. I don't get the sort of Discord levels. Maybe one day, who knows? Maybe I can quit my job and I'll do this. So look, coming in, putting our stage of flapping.
Golf Charlie from Papa Alpha is located.
We're slowing down to 160 knots. You can see we're not slowing quickly, so we'll put the gear down. And that'll create some drag. You can see the runway lights right in the distance there. We're just going over 4 DME. So let's bring our speed back to about 130. We'll put full flap in, and we'll make a call as well. Luton traffic, XHA 185, short final runway 07, Luton traffic. So, what we'll do when we get to Actually, we'll probably take over around now. So, we'll disconnect the autopilot. And we've also disconnected auto throttle. And now we are careering towards the runway. So we're trying to fly the ILS, trying to maintain speed. It's pretty bumpy out there. We got a nice cheeky little crosswind from the right, which is what we expected. And you'll get to see me make an absolute hash of this, but hopefully it'll be alright. Don't want to get too low. You need some quite powerful adjustments when it comes to power when you've got full flaps in this jet. It will drop out the sky pretty quickly, like we just did there. But we're back on profile, nothing to worry about. We'll just plonk it down on the runway. A little bit of float, but that's alright with me. Engage the reversers. They sometimes take a bit of time to engage. That's all good. Welcome to Luton, everyone. Perfect. Cool. I'm happy with that. That was a good little landing, but it was pretty bumpy. So we'll vacate to the left here, and we'll tidy the airplane up and get parking. Super. So let's tidy the airplane up. Got to put our landing lights on, but you know, don't tell anyone. Bring up our flaps. All good here. What we are going to do is taxi round to where signature is, which is over here. So we're going to literally go straight down and take a right down Bravo, and signatures down at this level here. On the ground, what do we want to do, guys? Well, let's start the APU. That gives us power when we shut the engines down. Otherwise, it's all cool. Let's not taxi off the runway. But yeah, look, really hope people enjoyed that. It's a really fun little jet to fly this. Hopefully it's a good little tutorial if you want to try it. Pause it, ask questions, let me know. We'll do a bit more flying with this. I've forgotten how good it was actually. I've been flying sort of the Phoenix and the PMG-G, and they're both very good. But this, if you've got the Deluxe version of Flight Simulator, it's pretty cool. I'd say you shouldn't be scared of flying it. It does everything you need it to. It's a big jet. Right, where are we? Okay, so we're going to just G off to the left here, and then we're going to call it quits there. You don't want to crash into the terminal, Mr. Turtle. I'm sure you don't do that. Sure you don't do that. You make it sound like you're you've got a bit to go, mate. But I'm sure you're not doing what you're saying you're doing. Okay, so this is Bravo over here. But yeah, look, really appreciate you guys tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Saturdays. Whatever you guys are up to, make sure you relax. Go and have a beer, and that's what I'm going to do. And we'll probably do some streaming over the rest of the weekend. And it's a bank holiday here in the UK as well because of the coronation. So all good. So we're going to swing into the left here. Got our car waiting. Mr. Turtle. More practice. More practice. Right. Where are we? Let's swing in here. Got the cars lined up, ready to go. Just jump into one of those. Beautiful. Put the parking brake on. And if we're shutting down the citation, guys, open up your covers here. Click stop. You can have an orange juice, Mr. Turtle. Stay off beer. It's very unhealthy for you. Very unhealthy. Good that you don't do it. And I know if you're not old enough, perfect. Don't start. That wasn't guidance. Just take your orange juice, drink water, be healthy. Alright, we'll let people off this airplane. Hey guys, really hope you've enjoyed it. Mr. Turtle, thank you for your company. That was awesome. We're parked here. APU's running. We'll jump some people out and we'll end the stream there. But look, I'll be on again soon, and look forward to seeing you guys then. Alright, have a good rest of the days and good weekend. Cheers.